Good morning, everyone. Please, could someone confirm that I can be heard, that my voice is being heard? Good morning, everyone. Can the participants hear me? Those online, can you hear me? Please confirm that you can hear me. Okay, thank you very much. So welcome to this wonderful webinar, the long-awaited webinar that we've all been waiting for, the webinar on life after law school. I welcome you all to this great event. Thank you so much for logging in. I can see a couple of us already online, even though it's 10 on the dot. I can see that we have 20 people already logged on. Thank you so much. I am very excited to meet you finally. I want to also inform for those of us who are online who doesn't know what the webinar is about. The webinar is centered on encouraging and strengthening and sensitizing law students and young lawyers on life after law school, the experiences that they need to understand before they, meet or before they move forward in their career trajectory, understanding the advantages and disadvantages in the legal profession, and being able to mitigate or navigate those disadvantages. I welcome you all. And I couldn't be able to pull this wonderful event off without the help of the guest speakers. Um, Already, all of them are already logged on. This is not the time to introduce all of them, but I just want you to know that Odinaka Akpamgbo is already online, that Zion Odinaka is also online. Omotayo Dada is also online. And guess what? I have two wonderful people who also helped me organize this wonderful webinar. That's Osayeme Ode and Oyeomi Yusuf. They are my colleagues in the office, and they really helped me in organizing this event. They were like my personal assistants. So they are going to be moderating this wonderful event. And on this juncture, I would call on Osayeme to take over from here. Thank you so much. Osayeme, please carry on.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Osayame Ode, as Chinasa has been so gracious as to mention. Today, our first speaker of the morning would be Mr. Zion Odinaka. Zion is currently an associate in Olaniwon Ajayi LP, a leading law firm in sub-Saharan Africa and the 10th largest law firm in Africa. He graduated from the Nigerian Law School with a first class and also won the Justice Shomolu's Prize for the overall best student in civil litigation. Before his outstanding performance in the Nigerian Law School, he graduated with a first class from Anambra State University, now Chukwuemeka Odemegu Ojukwu University. This made Mr. Odinaka the first person from his university to achieve a double first class feat. He is an avid reader and a researcher who has a passion for helping and solving societal issues. He is also a member of the governing council of TELSQ. Mr. Zion Odinaka, thank you so much for being here, and I'd like to welcome you to the platform. You have 10 minutes, sir.
Let's hold on for Zion. I think he's having network issues. He's trying to rejoin again. So sorry for this inconvenience.
All right, so good morning. Good morning. Apologies for that. I think my mic was disabled before. I hope you all can hear me now.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. Zion,
Please,
please,
can
you can
someone
also turn on
confirm
your
they can
camera
hear me?
now, please. Yeah, I can hear you. Zion, can you hear me?
Hi, can anyone hear me? Okay, so somebody has confirmed. All right, my name is Zion Odinaka, and this morning I'll just be speaking to you. I was asked to speak on a couple of issues that some of the challenges we faced or I faced when I was in law school, and the way I pushed through the mental barrier. So oftentimes when you go to the law school, especially when you come from a very good academic background, and there's some people that had first class, some people that had 2-1 in the university. So you're going with a lot of burden in your heart that you want to actually replicate what you did in university. So you come through with so much pressure, and the pressure are very, very external. And sometimes not even the pressure you put on yourself, or the pressure everybody expects. Everybody push on you because everybody expects you to, you know, replicate what you did before. So coming through from that angle, I just had to first of all shut off those external pressure, and focus on myself, focus on what I needed to do for myself, and not trying to make anybody proud. I'm not trying to make anybody, very proud of me, but I just want to make myself proud of myself. So that's the first mental, barrier that I had to push through. So, it got to a point where, in fact, every person, like, I was a group leader in law school, so every person for my group, most of them that they all relied on the substance I'm going to say. So they all relied on information coming from me, solving tasks, doing a couple of lots of extra work that I'm supposed to do. So those ones added their own pressure to me, because when they ask questions in class, everybody's expecting the group leader to talk. So stuff like that, if not well managed, they actually bring someone down mentally. So that's why I say, so law school is more of a mental, you have to be in a very good mental state to be able to overcome those kind of pressure, because there's always pressure coming in the morning, in the afternoon, and the evening. So I went to Lagos campus, and people on this call that went to Lagos campus could confirm that it's not easy dealing with those mental barriers. One, sometimes you have this thoughts of, am I doing enough? Do I even know what I'm doing? Like, I can't even remember what I'm reading, stuff like that. It just keeps happening, it just keeps happening. But one of the things I did was, whenever I feel like, am I doing enough, I just have to see, let me keep on with the consistency. It doesn't matter what I'm doing enough. And sometimes another issues that people face is, you look at what other people are doing. So in my time, we had people that will tell you, I've read this course more than 25 times. And you've not even finished reading, a topic, and somebody's saying, I've read it 25 times, and it clicks on your head and you're shaking already, like, everybody seems to be moving ahead of me. So it's about curtailing this kind of information that you put in your head, so that you preserve your mental state. So when you are in a very good mental state, that's when you can be able to overcome the whole hurdles of law school. Law school is not so difficult to, but it's like 100-meter race. So you have to keep to that pace from the beginning to the end for you to actually achieve, you know, the greatness you want to achieve. These goals should be set by you and not by any other external factor, and not by any other external person. So you set the goals for yourself, and you consistently lay plans to achieve those goals. So that's one of the things I discovered about, having those kind of mental. Because I will tell you this story and I'll round up. My assistant, when I was group leader, she had what they call a mental breakdown. When I mean mental breakdown, it was major. And what caused that was because she was looking at what other people are doing. So she was telling me that she went to a room to read with them, and those people were citing cases. And they will answer a question, they will cite one case, they will answer a question, they will cite, and she doesn't know any case. So she came to class. I noticed she was moody, and I was like, "Are you okay?" She said she's fine. So after class, I was just going home. And then I got a call from a lecturer that I should come to her office. So I went to her office and I saw her crying, very broken, shaking, dejected. So the lecturer told me in confidence that, see, this girl is going through a mental breakdown. In fact, that I should call her family, that she doesn't understand. She's crying, shouting, "I don't know anything. What am I doing in law school? My village people are looking for me. They don't want me to pass." And I was worried, like, this someone I just saw in class a few minutes ago. Like, how did he get washed to it? So I know I took her up and I said, "Okay, come, let's just go somewhere and talk." So when there, she was still crying. I was like, she was gathering crowd. I was really ashamed of the whole thing. I told her, "See, do you know you are going mad?" I was like, she was like, "Am I going mad?" I could see that the whole pressure has gotten up to her, and her mental health is deteriorating by the day. So I just had to do something quickly to make sure that. So I told her, "See, just forget about these books. Let's even talk." I started asking her questions on the things that we've done in class, and she knows them. But the problem is, oh, she can't remember cases. And I said, "Why are you putting pressure of remembering cases on yourself? And meanwhile, you've heard things about, oh, just write the principles. You can get a good mark with the principles." And she was having those mental breakdown because of the things that she has seen, things she has heard. In fact, there's a particular of her roommates that she said that the girl was so intelligent. The girl had first class in the university. The girl, everything. The girl is so intelligent. She knows everything, hook, line, and sinker. And there's the pressure that got to her health and started affecting her mentally. Now, long story short, I just encouraged her. After that day, she was crying. I had to, just do around and pet her, calm her down for some time. For the next 1 week, I told her, "Oh, you are going to be reading with me. Let me just assess." And I discovered that this girl knows lots of things for a person that was crying and acting insanely like she doesn't know anything. So, and subsequently, after our exams, went to camp. So when camp, the result came out. She was the first person that called me and started shouting. And I was like, "What's happening?" And obviously, now she had a 2-1 in law school. This is the same person that was saying she didn't know anything like 4 weeks before our exam. And the same roommate that she was thinking, "Oh, hook, line, and sinker, she's so intelligent," they had the same 2-1. So sometimes, like I said, so pushing through those mental barriers, and don't look at what A is doing, and don't look at what B is doing. The focus should be on yourself, your ability. I'm not saying you shouldn't collaborate. I'm not saying you shouldn't learn off some people that are very, very, there's some people that show promise in class. You could learn off them, but don't actually put those extra pressure on yourself, because when those pressure kick in, if you're not able to control it, and that's when you falter. That's when just like go down to the bottomless pit. And at that point, it might not be redeemable. That's when you lose hope, you lose touch, and you lose faith. So it's necessary that you make sure that the information that you put in your head before and after law school, before and during law school, you make sure those information are sieved. Put the positive ones. Look at the stories of Omotayo. Look at the stories of people that actually have done the right thing. Don't look at the stories of people that will tell you, "Oh, that's a dungeon, that's a graveyard, that's a it's a war site." No, look at the stories of people that will tell you, "I went there and I saw and I conquered." I mean, pushing those things has a way of positively influencing your mind. So it is necessary that when you're prepping for law school or while you're in law school, that you should have those positive mindsets, and you maintain those mental health. Make sure that you're mentally stable throughout those staying in law school. It helps you. I mean, it helps you a lot, because we've had stories of people that, even when you are writing exams, because I remember, we wrote one of the exams, corporate law. If people came out, they are dejected immediately, like they already give up that they won't pass. And I was looking at, this is one question out of so many How can you write one question and you're already giving up on yourself? And you see some of them, they even stop bothering themselves by reading. They say, what's the essence? And don't do that. Don't lose faith. Even think when things are not going the way you wanted it, maybe you've not actually mastered the topic, you are feeling frustrated. No, you calm down, re-strategize and keep pushing. It's the consistency that pays. But you have to keep your mental health in check throughout and before you come to law school. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zion. That was a truly enlightening a talk. I'm sure everyone on the platform learned quite a bit of your time in law school. I can agree with a lot of the things that he's saying. I agree that Zion was indeed a pillar to a lot of our colleagues at the time. So now we're going to move to the question and answer session. I am aware that you have received some questions from the online forum beforehand. So if you don't mind, can we start with 5 of those questions before we go into a general questions from the current panel session? So Zion, please, could you just answer the 5 questions that were sent earlier?
Osaime. So let Zion just take questions from those that are online, so that when he's done speaking, others would speak, and then we can start having, like, we will now do like a proper question and answer. No, like we will now take questions from those that are online. I mean, those that were sent ahead of time. Do you get?
Right, that works wonderfully. In that case, I would like to introduce Omotayo Dada. Ms. Dada is currently an associate at Olaniwo Ajayi, another same top-tier law firm that Zion is working at, and she's also a chartered arbitrator. And before becoming an associate at Olaniwo, she graduated from the Nigerian Law School as the overall best graduating student. Her scholarly skills are also noted in her alma mater, the University of Ilorin, where she graduated with a second-class upper. As the overall best graduating student of the Nigerian Law School 2021-2022 academic session, Ms. Omotayo has received umpteen awards vis-a-vis the Council of Legal Education Star Prize for the Best Student of the Year, the Nigerian Bar Association Prize for the Best Female Student of the Year, the Justice Atanda Fatai Williams GCON Prize for the Best Student of the Year, Dr. Taslim Olawale Elias GCON SAN Prize for the Best Student of the Year, and Honorable Justice Sylvanus Ayere Ajia OFR Prize for the Most Promising Graduating Student of the Year, just to mention a few. So please, Ms. Omotayo Dada, I would like to welcome you to the platform, and I hope you can give another enlightening talk to those that are present on the platform today. Ms. Omotayo Dada, you have 10 minutes.
Hello, everyone. I don't know. I don't know if network logged Omotayo off or something, but I don't know. So maybe Odinaka can speak to us. Odinaka is online, and I think he's very ready to speak. Odinaka Akpamgbo can just speak to us while we're waiting for Omotayo. Oh, I see. Omotayo is online, actually. I think it was from my end. Omotayo, can you hear me? Hello?
I think you have to enable her mic so she can put it on.
Omotayo, can you hear me now? Okay, she says she can.
Yes, I think okay.
Okay, let's listen to Omotayo then. I think she's ready to speak now.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Apologies for the network issues. I didn't even realize I dropped off the call for a minute. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Yes, I'm trying to enable my. Good morning, everyone. First, I apologize for taking the call in the car. Network in my house is not so great, and I might have to disable my video not to compromise the strength of the network. But good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I think I'll disable my video now. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Zion. I learned a lot from you. So I understand that I'm supposed to.
Omotayo, you can actually leave your video on. Like, let's see your beautiful face.
No, I might start having, but it might throw me out of the meeting. Now that I'm going staying in my car to take the call. So, a summary of my law school experience in 10 minutes. Just know that I'll leave a lot of things out, but I'll try as much as possible to capture all I can within the 10 minutes I have. I'll start from the good stuff. Going to law school, I already set a goal for myself. I wanted to graduate with a first class. I didn't graduate uni with a first class. I graduated with a 2-1, but I wanted to graduate from law school with a first class. So while I was waiting, I think around August, before we got admissions to law school, I was praying one day and God laid it in my heart to stop praying to just be a first class student, that I should start praying to be the overall best graduating student. So I think this was like 2-3 months before we resumed law school. So from then, in my head, I was like, how would this happen? You were not even a first class student from your uni. Now you want to be overall best graduating student. But I mean, God said it. So I started praying, and I had that at the back of my mind going to the law school. So I wanted to have a first class. I wanted to be the best graduating student. Now, let's start with the good parts now. During my time at law school, I was very, 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 very connected to God. I was very spiritual, honestly. I was a Jesus baby. I prayed a lot because I had it at the back of my mind that I wanted the first class, but God told me to pray to be the best graduating student. So it only made sense to hold on to God throughout my time at the law school. So I always prayed. I had my personal relationship with God. I attended chapel services. I did a lot of God stuff. I prayed a lot. I depended on God so much because in my mind, I knew that this feat I wanted to achieve, there was no way I could do it on my own. I needed God to help me. Then I had support, prayers from my family members, from my friends. Yeah, it was really nice. And from my roommates in law school, I had amazing roommates in law school. I had amazing friends from externship, courts, and FEM. So, okay, something about me is that from my undergraduate days, I already knew I was not one of those people that could read for 10 hours, I could read for 8 hours straight. I would always get tired and bored. So going to the law school, I realized something, and thanks to God, I realized that early. That one way for me to learn was to, aside reading my book, obviously, was to have discussions with people. That way, it was fun for me, and I was learning really fast. So like 90, okay, let me see, maybe 60% of what I knew was from what I read. Then 40% was from what I heard, learned from my friends, my roommates in the course of our discussions and all. So I had that. And for me, you know how you'd see people that know more than you and you'll be feeling, oh my God, this person already knows so much than me. For me, I saw it as an opportunity to learn from the person. And I think that's my nature actually. When I see people that do better than me, the first thing I'm thinking is not that, oh, this person is trying to show off, this person thinks they are better than me. Immediately I'm thinking, oh, what can I gain from this person? If this person is in a better position than me, what benefits can I gain from this person? And obviously return to the person. So because of that, I had oh God, I'm so grateful for my roommates, my friends during externship. We had a lot of discussions and it was very helpful. I remember during my court externship, after court rules, me and my fellow extend will stay in court. Someone who stay in the dock will be asking questions. And a lot of those things, I remember them during exam. So that was the good stuff. Then personal reading, I read as much as I could. And yeah. So after externship, going back to school, I remember crying so much because as much as I was reading and doing my best then, my mind was trying to play a trick on me that, Tayo, do you know enough? In my head, it wasn't even, do you know enough to be BGS, going back to school now? Do you even know enough to get the first class you want? Talk more of BGS. So then I would always cry that, God, oh, I have wasted all my time during externship. How would I cope? Yada, yada, yada. So those times I had my friends and family members talk to me, and I think I just got it out of my system. I think that was the only time I panicked and I just prayed to God, and God really helped me. There were days when after returning from law school, I mean from externship, there were days when you read for hours and hours and hours, and you take past questions. I remember like a month to exam, I'll practice some MCQs, I'll be getting 10 over 20. I'll be looking like, God, am I the person that will write back finals and be BGS? So those times, there were days like that where I'll get really low scores. I'll be so angry. I'll be frustrated. I'll be exhausted. I'll be wondering, what am I doing wrong? But something that was very constant through all these times that I had, the not so great times, was that I had the right mindset. I know Zion spoke a lot about having the right mindset, but I promise you, we cannot overemphasize how important having the right mindset is. Because tell me how somebody that was having 10 over 20 in an MCQ that I was practicing, like few weeks to exam, I'll sleep. I'll be imagining myself receiving prizes on the stage on my call to badding. Like, it made no sense, but I just made sure that my mind was always thinking positive. And I always told myself this thing, that Tayo, it's better you fail this thing now. Get your 10 over 20 now. Don't get it in the exam. So I always had this like positive mindset. Even when it wasn't going so great, I'll cry. That one is constant. I'll cry, think about my life, God, what's happening. Then I would pray. Then next, sometimes I'll just even close my book, take a break, pray. Then tomorrow we go again. So I was very consistent. Even on the bad days, I didn't think, oh, close my book, I'm not doing this again. As much as I cried, said, what is happening? I had like really low days. I had this we die here attitude to it. It's like we have to go at it again because there was no. And I always told myself, law school is not forever. Tayo, in 2 months you would sleep. Whatever I think you want to do now, you do it after law school. So I was very consistent. Even on my bad days, I recognized that, okay, maybe I should just take a break. And it's very okay to take a break. I've had people ask me, did you take breaks? It's perfectly normal to take a break. Because there are some times where you'll be so tired. There's no utility in reading because you're just wasting your time. Just watch an episode of a series, watch a movie, sleep, then tomorrow you go again. Then again, there was emotional drama at some point. I said I was going to law school, focus, get my good grade, and go back home. But along the way, there was one boy that came and I really liked him. I didn't even know how to manage that one. There was the one of I'm getting 10 over 20, then it was me on this other hand, liking a boy. So there was like a lot of not so great things. Like beyond all I read for 10 hours, there were lots of things going on in the background. I'm just sharing this for you to know that whatever I think you are going through now is perfectly normal. People have gone through it, emotional drama. People have gone through mental exhaustion, just thinking, do I know enough? Do I know enough? Can I get this grade? The next person is better than me. And I think one thing you can do to help yourself is not to compare yourself with the next person. And if you feel like you're in an environment where people that know more than you are always trying to show you and prove to you that they know more than you, I think I'd advise that you, as much as possible, take yourself out of those situations. For people that know more than you, that you can learn from, I would advise highly that you learn from them. Don't see them as trying to show off. But there are some that you can't learn from them. They will make you feel so little. They'll make you think about your life. I think you just have to excuse yourself from those situations. Surround yourself with people that have the same mind as you, people that want the same goal as you. If you want a first class and you have a friend that just wants to pass law school, honestly, they can't be bothered. And that's fine. Everybody has different goals for law school. But you that wants a first class with someone that just wants a pass, when you are reading for 5 hours, 7 hours, to the next person, you are doing too much. And at some point, it might start making you feel like you are doing too much. I've had someone ask me that time when we were at law school, I can't remember how he framed that question, but I think people were making him feel like his wala was too much. Because when you want a first class and you're in a circle of people that want the same grade as you, the energy will be matched. Nobody will be feeling like your own is too much. All of you will be encouraging each other and stuff like that. And one last thing that I would say, because I know my time is almost up, the last thing I would say is that one thing I always had in my mind that was very clear was that all I had to do was to do my best in law school. All I had to do was to do my best in law school. I didn't need to read for 15 hours. It was so clear in my head that God would make me the best graduating student if I did my best. And I would explain what my best means. My best might be reading 5 hours a day, and that's all. Your own best might be reading 15 hours a day. So I had the understanding that God didn't want me to read for 15 hours. That time, if you don't read for 15 hours, you will not be BGS. God just wanted me to do my best. So what I'm trying to say is that your best might not look like it to the next person. But as long as you satisfy yourself that this is the best I can do, I'm giving it my all, I think that's very fine. And just back it up with prayers. The place of prayer, the God factor in this law school thing, I cannot overemphasize it, because as much as people will tell you, practice past questions, read your syllabus 20 times, there are people that did all of these. There are people that did times 2 of this, that they didn't get a first class, they didn't get a 2-1. So it just shows you that beyond your personal efforts, you need God to just help you. I mean, there are 20 topics that you're supposed to know. You don't know where the questions are coming from. It's just God that can help you. As much as you can read the syllabus, turn it upside down, practice past questions for many years, there's so much that can happen. So much that can happen. So I'd always say, do your best, and please, please, please ensure that you pray to God. Law school is not a time where you say, God, stay by this side. After law school, me and you will pick it up. God is your advantage. Pray to God. Muslim, Christian, pray to God. Ask for God to help you. Pray from a place of, this is what I was, but I know that I might be my inadequacies. Like, God should help you to make up for your inadequacies, and God would help you. I am a testament of God's help. God helped me. He came through for me in ways that I can't even explain. And the only reason all of you are listening to me now, listening to what I have to share, is not because I did anything that the next person did not do. It was because God helped me. So yeah, I think that's 10 minutes. Thank you very much for listening. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Omotayo. That was really enlightening, and we would like to thank you for bringing a very humane element to your success at law school. So up next, we have something particularly special, courtesy of our Varologa. We would like to share some airtime vouchers with participants. So there are going to be 2 vouchers from each of the major mobile networks. So it's going to be a matter of fastest fingers, unfortunately. So I will call out the number twice, and whoever is the first to recharge it, please indicate in the chat so we know you've actually you've gotten the bonus. So first, I'll start with 9 mobile. So the number is 444 272 312 757 299. Once again, the number is 444 272 312 757 299. The second number for 9 mobile is 119 920 643 243 515. Once again, that is 119 920 643 324 3515. Next, we'll go to Glow. The Glow number is 422 359 965 293 1002. Once again, that is 422 359 652 931 002. Second Glow number is 424 625 528 886 828 and 3. I'll call that again. I think there was a mistake. It is 424 625 288 682 83. Once more, because of the original mistake, 424 625 528 868 283. And next, the Airtel number is 585 243 808 522 1504. Once more, that is 585 243 808 522 1504. The second Airtel number is 541 037 751 059 7120. That is 541 037 751 059 7120. And finally, the MTN number is 906 956 959 7730 7915. That is 906 956 959 773 07915. And finally, the last MTN number is 304 069 031 723 06869. That is 304 069 031 723 06869. If you have successfully redeemed any of this, please feel free to let the platform know. Congratulations. Next, we would have a photo session. So if you are comfortable turning on your camera for the time being, please do. Our organizer would very much like to take a picture of the attendees that are currently on the platform. So if you're comfortable turning on your camera, please do. And you would be included in the photo op.
So, was anyone able to get the, what is it called now? The airtime? Do we have winners? Or maybe everybody on this platform does not need credit though. I'm not sure they need airtime. Like, we could have just.
I think all their cameras are disabled.
Yeah, I think their cameras are disabled.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to.
And Chinasa got the MTN.
Okay.
Did someone just say, I don't even know how to recharge? Is that the result of, recharging from your bank app? Now we don't remember
All
the
the
code
time,
to
Abby.
recharge.
It's
Yes,
part of it.
definitely.
I'm trying to turn everyone's camera on, but I don't know why that's so difficult for me to do. So that we can take the pictures. Okay, I think I've done that successfully now. So yeah. So yes, I think you can also know your cameras on now. Okay, yes. Thank you all very much. Wow. I'm seeing Future legal luminaries. Wow, it's so good to have all of you here. I'm actually very excited to see all of you. Thank you so much for joining this wonderful webinar. And I hope you are enjoying so far, that you've been finding it quite insightful. Thank you all so much. Taking the picture now, taking the first one. Let me save it before I can save the next one. So that's done. I will take another shot and then we continue. Just in case we're not smiling and all, we can take another one. Okay. Are we all set? We're taking now. 1, 2, 3. So that's done. Now we can continue. Thank you all so much. So we can continue now. Oh, I see Mary Chuku. It's so good to have you. I know you from LinkedIn. It's so good to have you, Mary. Thank you for joining this webinar. So let's continue. Who is speaking next?
Hi, Chinasa.
Good morning, Oyewumi.
Good morning. So I believe Odinaka Akpamgbo should speak next. I don't know if he's on the platform.
Yes, Odinaka is on the platform.
Okay,
he has been on the platform since like 9 a.m.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much for joining so early. Then I would like to confirm, do we take some of the questions first for Omotayo Dada and Zion Odinaka before we proceed?
Yes. I think we should, so that it doesn't get so, yes. So let's do the question and answer session based on what Zion has spoken on and what Omotayo spoke on. So those online, the attendees, they can ask their questions now. We take live questions. So we take like five questions on what Zion spoke on and another 5 questions from Omotayo's speech. And then we move on with the arrangement, with the agenda.
Okay, sounds great.
Let's take a peek.
So do we have questions? Do we have anybody who has something to ask? Does anybody has any questions to ask? Okay, so I believe all your mics are on. So yes, if you have a question, please raise your hand. Oyeomi will be the one to collate and decide who to, let speak and all that. So whoever has a question can ask now. Your mics are all turned on.
Hi, can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so this question is directed to, the two speakers have spoken now because I know we still have one more left to speak. I I want to know.
Sorry, good morning.
How...
If you turn on your camera, sorry, your mic, please tell us your name, and so that I'll be able to disable your mic and then your camera, and then you can talk to us. So who is speaking to us, please? Who wants to ask the question? Is it Praise?
Oh, my name is Maureen Kelly from University of Lagos.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a recent law graduate from University of Lagos. I went to law school, and my question is basically, what are those things we as law graduates need to do now to get us into a top tier firm like Olaniun or Templars? So if you have any guidance, we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, so Omotayo, are you online? Did you get the question?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
She asked what tips we can share to get into top tier law firms. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. First, I would say, as much as we say school is overrated, I don't think so. I think you need to have really good grades would help. Really good grades would help. Extracurricular activities would help. And just shoot your shots. And even for firms you think you are not qualified for, I would say you should shoot your shot. Try your luck in your cover letter. Demonstrate how you think you can add value to the law firms, then make meaningful connections with people, keep your ears on the ground, because sometimes recruitment takes place not on their website. They might not publicize it, they might, but if you have people that would inform you about certain things, when recruitment is open, you would be informed. So I'll say follow their LinkedIn page, be aware of what they are doing. So when you want to apply in your cover letter, you can demonstrate, you know what the firm is about, the type of transactions they've been on, and how you see yourself as someone that can add value to the firm. So good grades, good CV, don't sell yourself short, and follow them on their LinkedIn, turn on their post notifications, because I know some law firms, I know Detail, I know my firm too, recently published, they made a post about call for application. So that was for people with more experience, but I'm just saying, I know during our time, Babalakinto, when it was their time for recruitment of law school graduates or young lawyers, they posted it on their website. So just be sure you have the information. You need to have the information before you start thinking, oh, what do I need to? If you don't know when they take applications, you might not even have the opportunity to show them what you have. So be sure you have a means of getting that information, then good grades, your CV, don't sell yourself short. And even for firms you think you are not qualified for, if you think your grades are not good enough in quotes, still just shoot your shot. Something on your CV or your cover letter might just get the attention and you get a call back from them. All the best.
Thank you very much, Omotayo, for taking that question, and I think you answered it very well. I totally agree with everything you just said as for the answer. So the person that asked this question, Morenike, I hope you got her answers. So moving on to the next question. Oyomi, some people are asking questions.
I did. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's very good. So let's go on to the next person.
I think Moses Chukudi. His hand is up, so you can unmute him. Thank you.
Everybody's unmuted. I've allowed all the mics for now because it's question and answer session.
So Moses, please, you can ask your question. You have the floor now.
All right. Good morning. My name is Moses Chukudi. I go from Enugu State University of Science and Technology. Okay. My question is basically, apart from internship, what can a law graduate be doing? Like, for instance, now in my school, I'll be graduating by next month, 20th of next month, by God's grace. So, and going to law school is next year. So what will I be doing? I'm just asking myself, what will I be doing apart from internship for maybe up to 1 year if I go to law school? Thank you.
Okay, so is your question directed to anybody, or you would want anybody in the panel to answer it?
Yes, I want anybody in the panel to answer. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Odinaka Akpamgbo, I don't know if you can take that question. Are you online, sir?
Yes, I'm online.
Okay.
Thank you for the honor. Moses, I hear you. There are many things you could do with your time. You could indulge competitions, national and international mood competitions. You could write excellent essays, articles, and publish. You're going to count on this in the future. You could do internships. You could start studying in advance for law school. You could build your skills. There are so many things you could do within that time. But a very important thing you ought to actually consider doing, because then you have clarity of mind and you have little obligations. Try your best to author some articles, some good commercially relevant articles within that time. I think that's what I'll say. And try to back one or two top law firm internships. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay,
Sorry,
thank
please, I
you
was just
very
like to add
much.
thing.
Okay.
Sorry. I just want to add that in addition to all that Odinaka has said, I think another thing you can do is to just explore your interests outside law. Because I remember an interview that I had, and they were asking me, "Oh, what are your interests? Like, what other things do you like?" And I was giving law-related answers. They were like, "No, aside law, just leave law aside. What else interests you?" So it's nice that if you have any skill, anything you're interested in, I think you can take time out, few months to explore that. Because law firms, as much as they need smart people, they need well-rounded people too. So it's not just that your CV is just speaking law. I know people that did internships outside law, and that's what might interest someone that's looking at your CV. Oh, you are a fashion. I know someone that was an actor, and even in Zion in our firm, that was one of the things the guy said he did, that he was an actor for a while, and everybody was interested listening to him. So I think another thing you can do is explore other interests you have outside law. Not that you should take priority over law, of course, but just you can explore that too.
Okay, that's a brilliant answer. I think Moses, I hope you've gotten all the answers you need. So I would also,
Yes.
at this juncture, advise every other person online to pay attention to what others are being advised to do as per with respect to the questions they're asking, and also take notes. You know, when you come to webinars like this, make sure you have your notepad, you're writing down something and everything. You may not know a day you can come across it and you find an advice or an insight there that you might apply to whatever it is that you need to apply it to. It may just become relevant when you least expect. So yes, let's continue with the question. We'll take 3 more and then we move on to the next thing on the agenda.
Okay,
Oh,
so
we'll not
I
take 3 more.
have
We'll take
some.
like 7 more because 2 people are already speaking, right? And we didn't take
Yes.
questions. So we'll take like maybe 7 more.
Okay, that's fine because we have some questions in the chat box and some people are still
Okay.
raising their hands. So quickly, let me go through the questions in the chat box. So this one is
Okay.
directed to Zion and Omotayo. AJ said, what is life after law school for Zion and Omotayo? Like, what is it for you guys? Probably the working system, how you've been able to balance it with your life, your personal life, your extracurricular, working at this law firm, working at Olaniwu, working at Templars. What's it like after you? What's the expectation of people for you? I want to believe that's the question AJ is trying to ask you. So who would go for Zion or Matayo? Thank you.
Okay, I'll go first. So it's really funny. Yeah. To be honest, I thought law school was one of a difficult phase. After law school, there lies another difficult phase. Yeah, because oftentimes people look at you and they think, oh, because you are double first class, you should just come out ready made for these things. Just come out. You need to be speaking to these things. So when I came out, joined Olani even before we were called to the bar. So, I was in a department. In fact, I won't lie, it was crazy. Like, felt like I didn't know anything, to be honest. But thank God I had amazing people. I worked with Tayo when we were in that department in government business. So I had good seniors that helped me through. I went to the next department, doing totally different things. I've not done finance, anything relating to finance in my life. I've not done anything relating to electricity, project development, project financing, stuff like that. But that's where I am now. I'm learning on it. I'm doing well, getting good recommendations from, the seniors or stuff like that. So it's always challenging. It's going to be challenging, but you just have to be up to the task. Just keep doing what you're doing. The only things that you've done before that paid off for you, you just have to keep doing it. You just have to keep reading. I know sometimes now that ordinarily I shouldn't have known by now, but it's just because of consistent trying to make myself better. So people, when you distinguish yourself when you are working in these tier firms, they entrust you with more responsibilities because they know you can deliver. So, but if you don't, that's when the problem starts. But it's always challenging, to be honest. Your first year after law school, you're trying to learn. So that's the phase I am in now.
Thank you so much, Zion, for that. Thank you so much. It's relatable. It's relatable for me. Also, people have high expectation of you at the law firm. It's different from, oh, I'm in law school. I can just run it on my own idea. I can just do this. There are a lot of things that I don't know. And suddenly I'm in banking and finance department. They're talking about securitization, loan documentation. Please, what do I know? We're not taught this in law school. How do you get? So things like that would happen and it could become so overwhelming. And in addition to what Zion has said, for me, I think when you know the department you're in, it might be maybe they're rotating it or you're just in that department for the time being. You could always study on it. Like, okay, you're in banking and finance. This particular transaction, you've worked on it. Okay, let me study more on it because you might not really get the understanding of everything from that particular transaction, or it's one energy matter. You used to draft a carrier agreement or whatever it is, and you just draft the agreements, you draft to the senior and all, but then you don't really have the in-depth knowledge of what it is. So the best approach is that subsequently you can read up on it, you can ask questions. Even your seniors and the partners will be eager to know that, oh yes, we worked on this agreement before. Okay, so you have further questions and you get to understand better. And in a way, they will be so excited to bring you up on any other transaction in the future because they know that you just don't stop at whatever it is that you are done. You take an extra effort to, study, come back to them, ask them questions. I know it could be so difficult for you to understand everything because this is not civil litigation, this is not criminal litigation, this is not property law. It's entirely different from practice. So best bet, study more even while practicing on that area of law that you've worked on. Ask questions, liaise with senior colleagues at the firm, and I believe you'll be fine. So thank you very much, Zion, for that. So up next, there's a question from Chiamaka. Please confirm you can hear me. Hello, can anybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So Chiamaka, this question is for Zion. He says or she said, I'm currently a law student, and when I am done reading, I usually think I can't remember what I read. What do I do about that? Zion.
Hi, hi, Chamaka. So, sometimes I think I don't know, it's just our mind that tells us we can't remember. Sometimes it's not really the case because, okay, I've had experiences even while I was in law school and as an undergraduate student. So I could read the topic now and I go to the class, somebody's asking me a question on what I read and I can't even remember it. I can't remember anything. And I'm trying to, like, I think I saw this thing somewhere. I'm not thinking. But that same day, if you give me a question to answer when I know there's no other, so sometimes the mind is controlled by the circumstances. So, for example, if my friend is asking me a question of something I've read, my mind is saying, oh, this thing is not serious. So I might not dig deep to remember it. I was like, I just read it, but I can't remember. But when I'm faced with a difficulty, when I'm faced with a question, and there's an exam question right before me, and I know there's nothing else I can do, that's when you see that the nanobytes, in fact, I don't know the type of bytes that is in the human brain, that's when it starts unloading those information. So that's why some people will say, oh, I can't remember things. There's a couple of things I didn't when I was going to write the exam in law school, there's some things I feel like I didn't remember, but I picked up my paper. In fact, in civil litigation, it was so bulky. People were I just looked at my right and I looked at my left. Some people were like so fidgeting. Some of the drafts, I knew that I looked at it once. Some of the drafts, and I came there at the spontaneity, like at the moment, I started remembering every word in those drafts. So because I know at that point I'm faced with something that I can't even say I don't remember. And that's when the brain will start storing those information. So what I'm saying in essence, just keep reading, keep storing the information, make your brains familiar with those concepts. When it gets to time to use those information you've stored in it, you'll see them popping out. And that's a true fact. So maybe when you think you can't remember, is maybe your brain has not felt the need to use that information because it's like somebody reading and you're asking yourself question after you've read and you don't remember because your brain already decoded that you don't actually need this information now. So when you are faced with real life, difficulties, and that's when those things that you've consistently read will pop out. So I'll always advise you just be consistent with what you're doing. Make sure you read and read and read. Get those concepts, internalize it. Then when it gets to that time, you just have to keep reading, keep reading. When it gets to time to use it, definitely it will come out.
Thank you very much, Zion, for that. Um, that's from Chiamaka. I hope you able to get something from what Zion said, and I hope he was able to answer your question properly. So the next question is from Adepeju. She said, anyone can answer this. She said, what is the best approach to answer bar finals? That's number one question from her. Number two is it the same approach for every course or it is different? So anybody can go, either Omotayo or Zion or sorry, I don't want to murder your name. So Omotayo, are you there?
Okay, so I mean, since Omota is not here, I don't know if Odinaka is there, but let me just drop my 2 cents. I don't know whether Adeboju is in law school. The person that asked the question, I don't know whether she's in law school or not. But oftentimes, so many things have been said about how to answer law school question. It's not. It's not really like university when you say, oh, there's an Iraq method. I don't think the Iraq methods. I use it. I never use it. But I answer each questions based on the instructions that was given. So when they say comment, I comment first. I do a positive comment, then I state a general rule, and I do if there's an exception, I do, and I apply it. and I do my conclusion. So if they say comment, the first thing I would do is I always comment. So because it gives the examiner impression that this person actually knows what you're doing. It's just to have a creative way of answering. So I can remember that then. In fact, I've told Odinaka this thing. Before I wrote my bar final, I had a call with Odinaka's brother. I don't know Odinaka then. And, his brother spoke to me, just took our time, called me. We don't have any relationship. It was just, we met online, just like he was somebody I had first class. And he taught me about those creative means of answering questions. And those creative ways are, for example, instead of saying, oh, that the secretary will issue notice of meeting, so he told me, oh, you can just make it that, oh, the secretary will issue a 21 days notice of meeting to the persons entitled under section, to I can't remember the section now. So he taught me those creative means that could make an examiner very interested in, oh, this paper, this guy actually knows all areas. So I could be answering one question and I'm citing a section that are related, but not maybe what that particular question asked me, but I'm actually writing something that relates. So if I'm writing anything on board notice, instead of, oh, the secretary will issue board notices, I'll say the secretary will issue 14 days board notice as provided under so and so, and convene a board meeting. So those creative ways actually has a way of endearing an examiner towards your scripts and making you. So really, as I don't know, but everybody has a different approach. That's what I say. Everybody has a way they answer it. In Lagos campus, then we are taught to always stay the general rule, even though they'll tell you, oh, law school say go straight to the point. But what are you going straight to the point if you can't actually show that you understand the whole concept? Even though that you're showing that you are understanding the concept, make sure you don't really, veer off what you're doing. So, but the main thing is own the topic. You are writing, write like you know it. Sometimes you might not know. I can remember in my property law, I was confused as to a fact whether this, because the question, the way they set it, I was looking at it, is this actually, what are they asking us, a lease? Are they asking us a lease or a tenancy? Because they set it and they were using lease, the terms. So I didn't know it. So I kept my answers open ended. So these are the creative ways you could, if it is a lease, blah blah. I wrote the condition. However, if the question borders on tenancy, this is because it was so confusing. But because I know the principle of lease and I know the principle of tenancies, I was able to state the 2 points there and I leave it. Sometimes that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you might see a draft, you don't know which one they ask you to draft. You might get confused. So you know the two drafts, just put the two there. That's how, that was how I tactfully did a couple of things, tactfully. So you have to learn those tacts and actually be creative about writing. But to say in red lettered words, these are the best ways, these are the best ways, I don't know if anybody could say that, because it's different experiences for everyone. So some people will tell you, I did this like this and it worked for me. So the main thing you should be focusing on, how do I write creatively to endear an examiner towards my paper, to make sure that when the person is marking, the person is impressed with the way I'm putting my lexicons, the way I'm putting my legal terms, I'm actually using the right words. So this is how I say it. But yes, make sure that you answer according to the instruction given. If it's comment, try and comment, then good reason why you commented. Thank you. Odinaka, you want to speak? Yeah.
Yes, Zion. Yes, I'd like to add something. I think we've had this conversation before. People always say go straight to the point, but I think that honestly, that's a fallacy. I don't know where it started, because I don't know anybody that got a first class on law school or even the university that ever went straight to the point. I think at law
You're right.
school, I didn't do anything differently than I did it in the university. And I remember having a conversation with my brother after law school, and he said that what worked for you in the university will almost certainly work for you in the law school. And for me, I knew that in the university, I had a very analytical and critical approach to I answered questions. Just like Zion said, you have to intertwine and interweave your questions, your answers, I mean. For instance, you're asked a question on something that's just a question on general meeting, But you know that a notice has to be given for the meeting, that the meeting has to be held within how many days, and that even after the general meeting, the secretary has to prepare the minutes, the resolutions. If a special resolution has been passed, has to be the resolution has to be filed with the CAC within how many days. You understand all those things. And if you're asked a question, you're not simply ending at answering the question. There are steps as well to be taken after the question. So I just approached my law school questions the way I approached answering my university questions. So different things are going to work for different people. But if you're taking away anything from this meeting, know that if you wish to get a result better than basic at the law school, you have to put in something better than basic. You understand? So imagine that, because people are really intelligent. The most intelligent people study law. And yeah, I think the most intelligent people study law in all the arts courses. So the law school gathers them together. And that thing you're writing, 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times more people know that now they're writing the same thing. So you have to differentiate your script. You have to differentiate your points. You understand? For you to earn your marks, for the examiner not to get boring, not to get bored. So that's what I have to add.
Just to add one more thing, and this is what Zion mentioned, and I'm so glad he mentioned it, because it was something I did in my exam, and I was thinking I'd not seen someone else that did it, and I wasn't sure if it worked or not. But the fact that Zion, a first class scholar, he did it and it worked. The thing is, actually, and it was with property law practice, right? There are some questions you see and you're unsure what the answer is. So instead of gambling and just going with one interpretation of what you think the answer is, give them both, right? Give them both. And I would immediately flag that when you want to do that, the only way you'd be able to, when they ask you draft the introduction part of a lease, and you're not sure if it's a lease or tenancy, the only way you'll be able to draft the two is if you are fast in answering your questions. Because imagine if you have a lot of questions where you're confused on that you have to be given two answers. That might take a lot of your time. So before you can do that, you must how to answer questions. So you don't waste too much time on drafting extra things that you might not need eventually. You now lose time to answer the questions where you actually are sure of the answers. That's one. Then number two is that one thing I know I did in the course of answering past questions, I realized that when they say list 5 things, sometimes I'll list 5 and I'll miss one out of the 5, right? So what I did during my exam was anywhere they told me to list 5 and I knew more than 5, I'll put 6, I'll put 7. So I always had like backup answers in case one of the ones I've given will fail me. The extra ones will come true for me. I don't know if you get my point, because I know for company law, or for corporate law rather, there was something they asked about the differences between private and public company. I was sure of the answers I put, but I just had like two extra, just like each I told us that they will mark the correct answer. So it's not just first 5 that they will mark. If your first 5 are not correct and you have extra ones, they'll pick the right ones and leave what's there. Then about giving concise, straight to the point answers. I know you would have noticed that in the past questions you have, the past questions we use, for some questions you see the answer like 2-line answers. And you'll be wondering, is this the way law school wants us to answer? I remember again, one of our lecturers came to class that as much as you see those short answers on what we are using to practice past questions, that those are not what they use. That's not their marking scheme, right? So that should not be your guide on how to answer questions. You have to be detailed. As much as you want to be concise, you need to give details to let them know that, oh, this person actually has an idea of what that thing affected me a lot in my undergraduate days. When I'll come out after the exam, I'll be like, oh, I wish I wrote this. I wish I wrote this. I didn't hold back during my law school exam. And that's not to say you should go and start things. If something is oh, I have to write too much, I don't want to do this. I took extra sheets for some of my exams. And I know people, especially property law, you would write, but don't hold back. Don't be so, oh, I want my answers to be short.
write as much as you think is useful. Don't veer off. Write as much as you think is useful. And if you are writing so much again, you need to pray that the person that will mark your script will be patient enough to read it, because there are different type of markers that you would encounter your script. So yeah, I think that's it. And you should pray too. Very important.
Okay, thank you very much,
Thank
Omotayo,
you.
for that. Thank you.
Chinasa, please ask Oyemi, could you ask Chinasa Chris to check her WhatsApp?
Oh, okay. Chinasa, are you there?
Gently.
Oh, yes, I can hear you. I'll do that now.
Okay. Then quickly, Omotayo, someone left a message here. She said, do you reckon reading before law school resumption? She has heard so many stories about the syllabus being bulky.
From my personal experience, I read before law school, but it wasn't like in-depth reading, right? I know I used to use Condy Smith then. I'll just read to just have an idea of what I'm going to face when I get to law school. So I'll just read it. It was not like I was reading to write the exam. I was reading to familiarize myself with the topics I'll be encountering. And I think it was helpful. But the most important thing I did while I was waiting was that I was conditioning my mind that this is the goal I want. I was telling myself like months before law school that this is the goal. I'd watched videos of people that said law school will be very difficult, very tired, but just hold on. So I really worked on my mindset more than reading before law school. I watched a lot of videos about mindset and everything. So that was how I prepared. But yes, I read before law school. And I know people that read before law school and made excellent grades too. But for me, I read, but it was not like intense reading. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Tayo, for that. So we'll proceed to the next panel session quickly. We would be taking other questions after the panel session again. Odinaka Akpamgbo will be speaking now. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce your name properly. Please pardon me. And Odinaka Akpamgbo is an associate at Templars. Odinaka is the first person to achieve a first-class double from both the Enugu State University of Science and Technology and the Nigerian Law School. Odinaka emerged from the Nigerian Law School with the Director General's Prize for First Class and the Prince Bola Ajibola SAN National Third Prize in Civil Litigation. As an undergraduate, Odinaka completed internship at Templars, Alukwal Hoyebode, Udo Dumambilo Sagi, Alex, and Odujiri Adefulu. Odinaka is also the winner of the FDI ECOWAS Regional Round Moot 2021 and recipient of the Femi Gbede Law School Scholarship. He remarkably graduated with the all-time third highest CGPA, achieved from the Faculty of Law of the university, and won various academic awards. Before joining Templars, Odinaka was an associate at Olaniwa Ajayi, where he gained practical experience in intellectual property and commercial litigation. Please make use of your reaction buttons to acknowledge our speaker, Odinaka. It's not easy to have this kind of citation, honestly. Please, let's show him a round of applause. Thank you very much. So, Mr. Odinaka, can we have you, please?
Thank you, Oyemi. Thank you, everyone. Good morning. I'm happy to be here to be speaking to you today. Just before I go, so that I don't forget something, someone asked a question before after Omotayo and Zion sessions, and the person asked, what we are they going to be doing in the intervening period between now and law school. And I will just say, yes, I forgot to say something. Apply for law school scholarships. I know that there are some law school scholarships that have opened already. Some opened in Q2, some opened in Q3, and you're eligible. So find them out. There's the Regional Daziza Scholarship. There's Femi Bede Scholarship. There's Pada Uzodinma Scholarship. There's a number of them. So if you're eligible, apply for them. And then starting my session, I was asked to speak on continuing life after law school. which I actually think the topic should be starting life after law school, because while you're continuing the life that you lived before law school, you're also starting a new life, which is more or less your career life. And I know that some of us are trust fund babies. We don't even need this information because some people will be leaving the country, some people will be eating, will be swimming in money. But for people that are not trust fund babies, I think this is important for you. So you have to forge your career, and there's no better time to do that than now. It would have been pleasurable if you started much earlier even. You have to forge your career. And by your career, I mean your future in work or in your education. If you there's something I know now I wish I had known earlier. You could apply for your master's now. You could have applied for your master's 2 years ago. As long as you're a graduate or you're in your final year, you can apply for your master's and for master's scholarships. And you have to also think about living your life, because law school is really, I would call it a short sprint or a marathon, anyone. But law school has a way of taking away every other thing you're doing in your life, and you're just doing law school for that period, for those 9 months. So after law school, you have the opportunity to live your life. And there are possible career options you could go through. You could um go the academic routes, which is some of us may want to become professors or lecturers or published authors.
Hello, Odinaka, are you still there?
Can't hear you.
Oh, I think I was muted.
Sorry, I had
Sorry.
to just mute everyone again because I was hearing some noise in the background, but I've muted you now. So sorry about that. Please
Yes, I think
continue.
please where did I stop?
So the last thing you said
Where did
was
you leave me? Yeah.
we were talking about applying for masters.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay,
right.
so
Something about
I
masters.
meant, yes, applying for masters and applying for scholarships. You can do that now. You can start doing that now. You can start doing that next year. And I was talking about possible career options. And then you have the academic career option. Some of you want to become lecturers or professors, and publishing and researching articles is going to have a major bearing on that. Research what you want to specialize in now. You have to find out what you want to specialize in now. Some of my mates already knew from their university that they wanted to specialize in arbitration. Some wanted to specialize in oil and gas or in general energy. Some wanted to go into finance. There are just many areas of law. So you have to research and discover what you really want to specialize in, and from now to start publishing things on them. Yes, because you're setting the groundwork and your background for the future. Then some of us might want to go into politics. That's not me. But if you want to go into politics, you know what to do now. You have to start building connections and attending events. I'm not asking you to do that now that you're in law school, but you're going to have, trust me, you're going to have at least 2 months after law school before you're called to the bar exams to plan your life and to plan other things you want to do. And then you have non-legal work. I think Omotayo said something about um, attending your interview and you're going to be asked. Some people want to go into pure business. Some people want to go into entertainment. There are different things you could want to do with your life. So also plan for that. If it's outside law, there are many people that have law degrees, but they're not using it. And then I'm going to stop at the legal career. You can chase your legal career in a law firm or in a sole proprietorship. That's you opening your own law firm, which I think is very rare to see now. But if you're chasing your career in a law firm, I'd advise you to go for a top law firm. You understand? Or go for a very good law firm where you know you're going to get good work experience. In any states that you're going to, a good law firm where you're going to get good work experience that will help you in the future, and start to make connections as well. And the reason for this is simple. As a fresh graduate or a new week, you don't have any relevant work experience. So you're going to be recruited based on your academic qualifications. And after a few years, your academic qualifications take a back seat. And what starts speaking for you is your work experience. You understand? That's what starts speaking for you. And that's why it's important in the first year, in the second year of your qualification, you have to have acquired solid work experience that will speak for you a lot. If you wish to go to a law firm, that means you should have applied about 2 months ago or 3 months ago. I made my applications to law firms in June, sometime in July, between June or July, but no later. And I really thank myself for doing that. I made those applications for law school anyway, shortly after we returned from externships. And I got a number of offers. I didn't apply to too many law firms, but I got offers from almost all the law firms I applied to. And I will tell you this from experience. Your applications are treated with priority. And so you have to give yourself that advantage of priority. And that is why you have to, more than anything else, apply early so that you have the first mover's advantage. And it begs the big question, how do you apply? You apply by sending a cover letter and a CV. And you may attach other certificates or qualifications that you have, including even awards, just to distinguish your application. And in your application, copy in all the HR emails that you know for that firm. And also copy in, there are some firms that have chief practice officers or that have chief innovation officers or have chief operating officers. Copy those emails in. Also copy in partners that you think might give your application a favorable competitive edge. Do you get? So copying people that will favor your application, basically, and you won't regret that. I had wanted to share my screen to project a cover letter, but I think the hosts have not enabled that, so I'll just move forward. Then plan for the interviews. Plan for your interview sessions. Intensive planning. Any questions could be asked. You understand? So be natural. Please the interviewers, show them what you know. Don't hold back, but don't offend them. Don't try to act like you know too much or that you know more than them, but just be pleasant generally. And my last point on this is, as I've said earlier, you, as a fresh graduate, you don't really have any relevant work experience and you're practically building yourself for the future. You need to demonstrate when you're moving up the ladders of your career that you have worked on important transactions in whatever area you have decided specialize in. If it's arbitration, if it's energy and natural resources, if it is finance, if it is corporate commercial, you need to be able to demonstrate that you have worked on land moving transactions, on landmark transactions, and that you have a lot to bring to the table in whatever firm you're going to. And the time to make sure you gather that experience is in the first year of your career. And if you're in the law school now is actually the time to be writing tests and to be doing your interviews. I recall that The first job job I got in the law firm, which I did before my call to the bar, I had the interview in the week of our pre-bar exams. That's when I had the interview. So I had planned for it, I had prepared for it, and that's what I would advise you to do. Just plan your life and plan all those things. I wish to tell a short story. Shortly after graduating, as I said earlier, I started a job, and it was because I applied early. I applied earlier than most, and there were even some people that applied before me, and those people were made. Those people were made. They were made talent scouts. So there are actually talent scouts on your
Sorry, Mr.
campuses
Odinaka,
now
can
that
you try sharing? Hello, sorry, Mr. Odinaka, sorry. Try sharing your screen now. You should be able to do that now.
Oh,
Try
okay.
doing that.
So can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see it.
So this is a sample cover letter. Can you see it?
Yeah.
So
Yes, I can see.
your all your application documents are supposed to be sent in PDFs. You understand? So your cover letter and your CV are supposed to be sent in PDFs. After doing it in Word, making sure that it's neat, taking care of the formatting and everything else, convert them to PDFs and send them. And just insider information, if you know that this firm prefers these fonts, you understand. Some firms prefer Times New Romans. Some firms prefer Arial, Pandara. There are different fonts. Tailor your document to that specific font that you know that your firm uses, the firm you're applying to uses, and convert them to PDFs before sending. And then, as you will see in this cover letter, your details are supposed to be above. It will contain your email, the URL or the link from your LinkedIn. So you attach that link to your cover letter or your CV, so much so that once they click on it, it leads them to your LinkedIn. And then your phone number and your house address. I would advise you, if you're applying for Lagos jobs, put in your Lagos address. Don't use your address in Enugu or Anambra State or Osun or other far states, Kaduna. Put in your Lagos address to show the employers that you're ready to start work once they request same from you. And put in the address of the firm. Start with, this letter does not contain something important that you must have been taught in law school. So once you say dear, if you know the name of the HR, do you understand? Put the name of the HR. Some HRs, if you know their name, address them. Say, Akin, dear Mrs. Okonkwo, you understand? So that way they can relate, so to speak. And after the salutation, there should be a title. You understand? The title should be application for the role of associate or for the role of trainee associate. So you have to also understand, once you start doing applications, if you have these conversations with your friends, then you know that some firms don't take NYSC associates. They don't take trainee associates, they take associates, proper associates from like associate 1. There's a firm that does that. So in your application, you're going to caption it, application for the role of associate 1. You understand? And your application is going to be treated. And in your first paragraph, you're putting in, just like this one, you're putting in a very captivating first paragraph, a very captivating first statement, because that's the first thing they're going to be reading. In the middle, you're going to have to put in important qualifications that you've achieved. And at the end, you're ending with another captivating statement. So while in the middle, you must have shown that you understand what the firm does, and you have significant interest in which interest is demonstrable. then you round off by showing that, expressing optimism, that you look forward to them contacting you, and then you sign off. Now, what's the demonstration of a captivating first paragraph? For me, I would say that I'm the first person to achieve a double first class from my university and at the law school. And that's the captivating first statement. I'm giving you this for free. And you have where your strengths lie. Some of you on this call, you have achieved the highest CGPA in your university. Some of you on this call, you are the first winner of a major international competition that was organized in Nigeria. Anything that you know is relevant to the job that you're applying for, demonstrate that at the first paragraph. And then I'll end. I was about to tell a story. So you're going to find out that there's a shortage of jobs in Nigeria. The country is undergoing a recession, and so much is happening in the world, especially legal jobs. And then there are just a few good law firms in Nigeria to work for. And trust me, the demand is higher than the supply of those jobs. You have to scramble for those jobs. After law school, you're going to see people attending interviews, getting no offers, while some people, a select few people, are getting all the good offers. And some people don't even have any offers at all. And for that reason, it is important that now you start to carve your future, to carve your own story. You don't want to be one of those people that won't get any offers at all, or you'll be crying when other people are getting many offers. Trust me, the end justifies the means. Some people won't even get first class from law school, and they will have the best jobs. Some people did not get first class from their university, and they have the best jobs. And I think for me, what really matters is getting the best job. That's what matters. So your law school is practically a means to an end. Some people use law school to distinguish themselves, and then after law school, law firms are coming after them. Like law firms are coming after them, making them offers. So trust me, I know some people that once they had a first class from law school, law firms gave them offers. You have them on this call, you can ask them, they can attest. While some people got their offers even before their law school results came out. So this is the best time to plan for that. Whatever side you wish to be on, you have to plan for that. A wise woman once said, and I wish to adopt her supposition, start the beginning with the end in mind. And although this is not the beginning, it's similar to a beginning, it's not the end. So start now with the end in mind. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you so much, Odinaka. Thank you. This was such an insightful and an interesting session. So everyone, I hope you were able to get a lot, not one or two things. I mean, a lot from Odinaka's session and from everybody. So please use your reaction to appreciate him, and please take note of everything he had said. Apply early, project yourself better, engage in internship opportunities, show what you can offer to this law firm, adopt their funds, insider information. You need to get to know people that are there and ask questions. Please, do you know what font this particular firm uses? Do you know this? Do you know that? Ask questions. And I'm sure Odinaka would be kind enough and gracious enough to, respond to you guys' messages on LinkedIn. However, we should be professional about it because, he's the top-notch lawyer in Lagos. He does not have so much time like that for everybody. Same with Omotayo, same with Zion. Thank you very much for that wonderful session. And quickly, I would want to bring our host on board, Miss Chinasa Obiorah. So, a citation. Chinasa Obiorah is an associate at Bestons and Grace, a top-tier law firm in Nigeria and one of the largest in Africa. In addition to being a lawyer, she is a chartered mediator, a member of the Institute of ADR Registrars. Chinasa is also a self-help writer, an orator, and an entrepreneur. Aside from writing self-help articles, she writes on societal issues vis-a-vis copyright, marriage and divorce, property law, etc. She is an ardent advocate of self-development and awareness. Chinasa is one of the trustees of Project Show a Little Kindness, an NGO specialized in assisting widows and widowers and low-income earners in society. Please use your reaction to give her a round of applause, please, as we welcome her.
Good morning once again, and Oyomi, thank you for introducing me. Before I go with my own contribution today for today's session, I would like to thank the last speaker, Mr. Odinaka Akpamgbo, so much for all the things he shared today. Honestly, I mean, I did not even think that anybody would bring how to prepare application and CV to this platform, and I'm very excited that he shared that. Honestly, this is not a paid event, and I really wish that those that are on this platform are making very good use of it. Because, you know, I'd written 3 articles on this same topic, which is why I'm a little bit not so surprised that some people are still asking questions about when to apply, how to apply, because I've written about it. But then I also understand that not everybody is on social media. So one of the things I want you to take home today is some things that Odinaka said earlier, which is start making your connections now. Understanding that when you see the beginning, or how did he put it? Start the beginning with the end in mind, right? And then he also said something about making connections, whatever it is you want to pursue in future. Now is the time to start making connections for it. Deciding on what you want to become tomorrow. Although it may be difficult because you're still in law school and it's almost like, I don't even know where to specialize. That confusion is going to be there, no doubt about that. But always have it in mind that at some point in your legal profession or your career trajectory, you have to specialize. And in specializing, for you to be able to do that, you have to start focusing more on those areas you want to specialize on. Start writing about it, researching about it. That's what makes you an expert in that area. So that said, I'm going to now go into my own contribution for today. And published I was going to speak on retention after service. Now, before I go into speaking about that, let me ask everyone on this platform. I know that they cannot unmute themselves, but they can always answer with a chat. I do hope that all of you are on LinkedIn, because you know when Omotayo was speaking, she said something about finding out where to get those information, getting it, knowing when the firms are calling for recruitment or something. You can't know all these things if you're not online. Gone are the days when things used to be published on newspaper. Like, even if they publish on newspaper, I promise you that they would have published on their website first, published maybe on LinkedIn, and once in a while on their Instagram page before they can now go and start publishing on newspaper. I promise you that, because everybody's making use of social media, making use of technology these days. So you would want to download LinkedIn and just register yourself on that platform. It is free of charge. Like, life is made easy these days by social media. Don't waste so much time on TikTok and all of that. You can be on all these platforms, but make sure that your phone is helping you make your life easier. So get LinkedIn, download LinkedIn, register on LinkedIn, follow the firms, because all these top firms are talking about, mention them: Templars, Olaniwa Ajayi, Person and Grace, Alukano Ebode, all of them are on LinkedIn. Other speakers on this platform will confirm the same thing with me. They are all on LinkedIn. All you have to do is follow them. You can even put on their bell for notifications so that whenever they post anything, you'll be the first to get it. And when you get it and it's something on job recruitment, you take advantage of it. Like Odinaka Akpamgbo said, give yourself the advantage of being priority. If you are the first to apply, they will attend to your application first. And while you are the first to apply, make sure that what they are looking at is going to impress them. Before they read any other person's application, you've already set the standard. You get that kind of thing. So that said, let me go into my own speech today, which is I titled Retention After Service Year. Now you understand that the topic itself flows from somewhere. It doesn't just come like that. Before you talk about being retained in a law firm, you must have been offered a letter and you must have been employed by that law firm. And not looking for a way to be retained. And when I say service, I'm talking about service as per when you serve as an NYSC associate. So let me not try to jump into this topic, right? Let me try and see if I can start from maybe like try and give like a summary of the articles I've written on, because you can't really follow this topic if you don't have like a foundational understanding of the topic itself. So the first time I wrote an article, I wrote about I think graduation from law school, when to apply. So if you're on this platform and you have not read those articles, I suggest you go and read them. What I will do is that after this session, I'll put this webinar on YouTube and then find a way to share the link. I have all of your emails, so I'll just send email to everybody that I have that registered for this webinar. I'll send you the link to the YouTube, send you the link to the LinkedIn series, so you can just go and read it. Honestly, like I poured out my heart in that series. Just read about it, when to apply, how to apply, to prepare your CV, your cover letter, the firms to apply to, those top firms. I mentioned them in these articles. And then the last one was that I wrote about NYSC, the issues you can encounter. But most importantly, let's focus on the advantage, the good part of that article is that when you apply to law firms, that's when you are still in law school, like Odinaka already mentioned. And you've now gotten an offer from these firms, right? What do? When you now apply for your service, you're going to go back to that same law firm and tell them, okay, I want to go for my service. Some of us even started working before we even went to serve. So they will give you what they call request letter. That request letter is what you're going to present in the camp after staying for 3 weeks. If you want to stay in camp, you can stay in camp for 3 weeks. At the end of 3 weeks, everybody is expected to leave the camp. And so usually they would have posted you to somewhere. And then they're now sending you to that place. It is usually called your place of primary assignments, otherwise known as PPA. So what you can do is to now present that request letter that you've already acquired from that firm before leaving the firm to go for your NYSC campaign. You will now tell them, okay, I already have a job offer. NYSC is more than excited to post you to where you want to be posted, because it's not like they have all the jobs waiting for them and what is it called, companies saying, come on, we want you to post a copper here. So they will be more inclined to even post you to anywhere you want to. So once you present that request letter, they will post you to that particular firm, organization or corporation, wherever it is, institution, whatever. Just make sure you apply in time, get the request letter, present it to your platoon officer. When you get to the camp, if you have not gone to camp before, you understand what I'm saying, to make more sense to you. Your platoon officer will now take that request letter and make sure that you give it to the necessary admin officer. They will post you to that firm. Now, when you resume working in the firm, that's where you now come to, okay, I'm now working here. How do I make myself useful and all of that? After making yourself useful, you now talk about how do I get retained in this firm? That is where my topic now comes in. That is where it is flowing from. So what I want you to bear in mind is that the moment you start working in a law firm, because it's a big law firm, everything is organized. They're all professionals. So it means that the way you dress matters, the time you come to office matters, everything about you starts counting, right? Because as Odinaka also mentioned earlier, they're not going to be looking at any special thing from you based on you've not worked before. You don't have any work experience. So they're going to be judging you based on your academic qualifications and what you are doing in the moment. So I would say this, the very first day you resume work, just assume somewhere in your mind that there's camera on you and that every 247 you are being monitored. The HR is watching you, your colleagues are watching you, the senior associates, all eyes are on you, the partners are watching you. Don't even assume that these partners don't get feedback. They always get feedback. Depending on the kind of HR you have in the firm, they are always going to be watching you. So what do? I'm just going to give you tips on how to make yourself effective in that firm. And then I'll conclude by saying, pray to God that you get retained, because at the end of the day, there are the chances of being retained. I don't know. I would say in some firms, they are high. In some other firms, they are very low. Why? Because some firms or corporations, let's say, take KPMG, for example. I know of a fact that there are not less than 70 core members in that corporation. What they do is audit, tax, this and that, but they have like 70 core members working for them. That's like, they are more than 70. I'm just staying with 70, so I will not make a blunder. But honestly, these guys are up to 70. Just imagine a firm that is employing up to 70 core members. How many do you think they will retain? In their own strategy, they're employing as much as possible. So that at the end of the day, if they're able to retain 50 or 5 or 10, they know that this 50 or 10, they have distinguished themselves. So imagine a firm like that, you would want to put in more effort, work hard so that you can stand out. So that's that. So the chances of being retained, like I earlier said, it depends on the firm itself, and it depends on the ability and your capabilities and what you've been able to show them as per, this is what I can do. So I would say this, the first tip is, the moment you start working from the very first day, like I already said, assume that someone is constantly watching you and do your best. Don't relax and say, well, some firms are doing this, because there will always be that competition. You go for events, maybe, what is it called? You go for MBA conferences and stuff like that. You will see your colleagues and some are saying, I work in our local. This one says, oh, I work in Olani. This one says, I work here. You will not be asking them, well, what was it like? The first thing they will tell you, oh, sometimes we go twice in a week, sometimes just once in a week. We don't go every day. We get free lunch and all of that, because Olani does that. They give free lunch. I think with breakfast or so. They do that and they pay us like so amounts of money. I don't want to say the figure or anything, but they will say, yeah, they pay us like this. And then you will be tempted to start comparing yourself with these firms, and you're like, look at those in Aluko, see what they're paying them, see all the benefits. And then you start relenting in your own path. Maybe you're not putting so much effort anymore. After all, they're not paying us as much as those guys. But I warn you now, don't do that. At every point in time, wherever you are, try to create an impression and let that impression be the right impression. Whether or not the firm appreciates you or not, leave something with them. You are doing it for yourself, for your own CV and for your own recommendation, not for them. Focus on yourself. You want to be the best, it's in your hands to be the best. If you believe you deserve the best, you deserve to be paid highest salary, then put in your best, because it doesn't work the other way around. You can't put in less and expect more. So what you give is what you get. So having said that, so the first thing you do is to assume that everybody is watching you, all eyes on you. When you are given a task, try to submit that task either before deadline or on deadline. Now, when you walk into the firm, because you are new, for the first 1 week, first 2 weeks, you're going to be considering, what is this place like and all of that. And maybe the associates, depending on the work policy there, some people come every day, some don't come every day, some do hybrid, some come today, don't come tomorrow. So there's a high chance that the day the HR will introduce you to your associate and soon to be colleagues, some people will not be in the office. So what do? When they come the next day, be the one to greet them. Just be observant of your environment. Go and greet them. Hi, my name is this. Like, try as much as possible to be very, very friendly. My name is this, my name is that. I'm one of your colleagues. I'm NYC associate, just attached to your firm. This, that. Please, do you have any work for me? Don't do, oh, I want to focus, because you must have researched on the firm. You know that they have litigation department, banking and finance department, energy department, etc., etc. You now tell yourself, no, I want to just specialize on tax. So you go to those that work in tax department, maybe they don't have any work for you. You cross your fingers, don't do that. Or you cross your leg. Go to the other departments, ask them for job. Although, when you first come into the firm, they will do what they call onboarding. So during that onboarding, they will just like tell you, some firms will rotate you from this department to that department, making you have like a grasp of all the departments and all the sectors or areas that the firm specialize on. Now, after doing that, you can now start taking jobs from here or there. So what you can do is, at the back of your mind, assuming you want to specialize in maybe litigation or banking and finance, what you can do is to always go to those people in that department to ask for jobs. Please, ma, what can I help you and do? I've drafted this, can I help you and draft that? Always make sure that your desk is always busy, right? And then there are times when those departments will not have something for you to do. Go to other departments, because at the end of the day, those are the people that will determine whether or not you stay in that firm. Because the partners may not work like very closely to you. They give it to the senior associate. The senior associate gives it to junior associate. The junior associate hands it over to you. So they will be getting feedback in that order. You will not speak to the partner direct. They'll be getting feedback. Oh, who gave this person job? What is her delivery like? And all of that. So what have I said so far? Go to departments and ask for work. Don't wait until they give you jobs. The second one is, Always be friendly. Be friendly with everyone. Don't say this one did not smile at me, I'm not going to smile at her. Be friendly with everybody. In fact, make it your character to be friendly. It's a plus. Because who are you fighting with? Who is fighting with you? It takes two to fight. And if you decide not to fight with anybody, nobody will fight with you. When they are trying to fight, just maneuver and walk away. So be friendly. Always wear a smiling face. And then ask for job. Assume that everybody's looking at you, and always do your best. And then deliver your jobs before, like I said, or within deadline. So yeah, when I say within deadline is that when you start working in firms, you find out that when they give you job, it's not just like that. Oh, draft a notice of appeal, and everybody just gonna sit down and wait until you are done. They will tell you, submit it maybe close of business on Friday or close of business on Thursdays. They will always give you a deadline. So what you can do is to do your best, research and all of that, and then deliver either on Wednesday, Thursday, or on that same Friday. Don't allow it to exceed. Then the next one is the quality of your work. If you are given a job to do, trust me, if you want to do it well, you can actually do it well. There's the internet, there's GPT, there's AI, there is colleagues to ask as a human being sitting very close to you in the office. There's law school, like you have so many things, many materials to use and deliver a very good job. So if you're delivering something less than standard, it's on you. That's why they give you jobs, and there's this understanding that because you made 2-1 or because you made first class, they want you to do it to a certain level, not just to just drop it on their desk and it's just undone. You know, they have so many things to correct. So the first thing you do is to look at the formats that the firm normally, you know, use. So you can ask a junior associate that sits by you, please, so person asked me to draft this notice of appeal. Do you have a template? Let me see how the firm does it. So you look at the font size. All the firm don't use the same. My firm uses 13. Some have seen firm that use 14, some use 12. You look at the font size. You look at the font itself. Which font are they using? You look at the format. How did they present it? So all these things count. Not that when you submit your work to me, I'm doing my best to correct the heading, something that you should have just done, right? And then when it comes to the quality of work itself, the content, you have, like I said, you have so many templates to use. You can ask them for templates and then go through something. So when you are done with your work, like what I do, before I give it to, let's say, if it's the senior associate that gave it to me, before I give it to him or her, I would go to a junior associate, please help me and proofread this. Or even my own, someone on my own level, please, can you help me and read this? How is it like, please? Is it okay? Is it good to go? So there are things that they see that maybe you do not notice. You cannot correct it. So it means that you've done your own editing. The second guy has helped you to do another editing. The senior or intermediary associate has helped you to do another editing. So before it gets to the senior associate or the partner, I mean, what they will correct is already minimal. So the quality of your job is already good to go. So they're looking at it, well, there's minor corrections here and there. Should have done this, should have done that. But then it's not going to be like the first time you drafted it. And then take corrections. After all that, like I always ask for the tracked copy of my documents. If I submit a document to a partner, for instance, or a senior associate, what I would do is, Ma, I know you're going to correct some things. I did my best, but just in case you have any corrections, please, while you're correcting it, track it for me. So what they do at the end of the day is that they give you the tracked document. So what I mean by tracking is, for those of us that may not understand what tracking is that if I want to correct a document that you give to me now, or maybe edit your work, there's a place on Microsoft Word that I can click on review. Once I click on that review, every correction I'm making, both the deleting, the addition, and every other thing I'm doing, the spacing and everything, you will see it like the computer itself will automatically track those changes. So at the end of the day, when I get the tracked copy back, I will now compare it. There's a place you will click, you start seeing red and blue. So the blue is the original copy you sent out. The red is the corrections that was made, those things that were imputed and all of that. So I would now consider, okay, he removed this, he left that. I will look at all these things and then I'll take note of it. So that not the next time I submit another job, it's looking like I've not even made any improvements. So there's always a room for improvement. And then there's a style, right? So you discover the style of the firm, discover the style of each partner. I know it's looking like it's a lot now, but trust me, when you get into it, it becomes easier. You know that, okay, for Mr. A, he wants his work to be like this or like that. He wants you to maybe start with a bogus introduction and then narrow it down. Some want you to start with conclusion and then narrow it down. Some want you to prepare minutes. Like my firm will also do company secretarial work, I prepared minutes like God knows I can't keep count anymore. So when I prepare each minute, I discover that there's a style that they use. Maybe for this firm, there's a different mode of preparing their minutes. For this other firm, there's a different mode. Some you have to use bullet points, others you just have to prepare like that. At the end of the day, I made those improvements, made those changes, and I got used to it. Right? So it's not every time I submit minutes, there's so many things to correct. So that's how you improve your work. So that the quality of your work there's always an improvement. So that's that. And then another thing I'll mention on another point for you to work on so that you can get retained after your service here is punctuality. When you're going to the firm, don't just wake up anytime you want. In fact, go so like if you're supposed to resume by 9 a.m., resume by 8:30 or 8 o'clock. There's a movie I saw. The name of the movie is Partners, and it's a long movie. And the guy made a statement. He said, if you are early, then you are early. If you are on time, then you are late. Because if you're on time, you can say, okay, if this program was scheduled for 10 a.m. and you get here by, let's say, 9:50 or 9:50 or let's say 9:59, and then you join the meeting immediately, you can say, well, I'm still on time, like it have not started, right? But when you come by 8:30 or 9 o'clock on the dot, you are early. That's when you can say, oh, I came very early because the program had not even started. They are still setting up things and all of that. So make it a habit to go to work on time. Let them take notice of that this girl is punctual, because it takes a lot of work to be punctual. It's not, you don't just wake up one morning and decide to be punctual. It takes a lot of hard work to be punctual, right? So punctuality, delivering your work within time, the quality of your work, let it be authentic and very, very top notch. At least minimum like let it be the standard, not anything close to minimum. And then what else did I say? Be friends with everyone. And then always know that everybody's watching you. All eyes are on you. So you respect your seniors, you monitor your attitude, and then you put in your best. Hard work comes from waking up early in the morning, being punctual, researching, distinguishing yourself. If you know the news, like let's say commercial, there's something we call commercial updates or regulatory updates. Let's say before any regulation is coming out, CBN regulations, what have you, you're on top of it. You know that they just published something new. Something trending on social media, you are aware of it. That's why I say there's a way you can make use of social media. You are aware that, oh, this thing is happening on social media. You know that. And then maybe someone started talking about it in the firm, maybe an associate, or you go for maybe general meeting, they're mentioning something like that. You're on top of it. You're like, okay, I have an idea about this. You mentioned one or two things. They will be taking notes of that, but you'll not even know. And then another way to impress your employers is when you find something online, something that is a commercial dispute, everybody's talking about it. You don't even need to wait until the firm say, oh, we want to write an article on this. You can write an article on that. Put your name there with your full chest and publish it either on your LinkedIn or any of the social media. If they're following your social media, they will see it and they'll be impressed, like, wow. So you even know about this thing, I even wrote about it. That's one of the things you can do. So you can do that. Don't wait until they say, oh, let's write about this before you write on it. Just go ahead and write about it. Keep writing and keep making your research. Those are the things that will distinguish you from other people in the firm and other colleagues, because at the end of the day, what they will consider before employing you is the level of or the amount of transactions you've worked on, the ones you've delivered and the ones you worked on. How good were they? Were they good jobs or just, and then if you are doing litigation, being able to prepare those briefs and all of that, going to court early, arguing well, depending on whether or not they've started allowing you to take applications. Not all firms will allow you to take applications immediately, depending on the firm. Some would allow you to take applications. Others will be like, just follow us to court and observe and all of that. But over time, maybe 6 months down the line, you start taking applications yourself. So whatever you're doing, make sure that all eyes are on you. Do it like it is your job. Like, this is my client, right? And I'm getting paid for it. Do it like it is your job. And is a commercial, something that the whole world is looking up to, and they're going to hear about it. So how do you want them to perceive you? That's how you put in your best. That's what will encourage you and give you more drive to like do your best when you're handling the transaction. And at the end of the day, you find out that you've already distinguished yourself directly or indirectly, and they would have taken notice of that. So in the end of the day, when everybody is applying to be retained, you find out that You will not have any issue. Within yourself, you know that, oh, I'm going to be retained in this firm. So that said, let's talk about the steps to take for you to be retained after your service year. So after serving in a law firm, and you have created an impression, you have done one or two things for them and all of that, the firm knows that, oh, this person is good and all of that. They're not going to come, some of them would walk up to you, maybe they'll call into their offices. Do you want to continue working with us and all of that? Depending on your answer, you know, they can now say, okay, to make it formal, you present another application to be retained. Even some firms would even call you and say, because you are doing a good job and all of that, we're going to increase your salary. So that's why I said there's nothing like working hard is so, like, don't even, it's so imperative. Don't even take it for granted. There are some firms that will call you and say, you are doing very well. Let's increase your salary. So even in the same firm, you have the same colleagues, all of you are in the same level. But because you are putting in more work, they will say, okay, instead of paying you 150 that we normally agreed on, or 350, let's start paying you 500. And nobody would know. You're the only one that knows what you're earning, right? And they continue like that. While there are some firms that will just say, okay, we may not increase the salary now, but we're going to retain you. And of course, when you are retained, you're already a full staff of the firm. There are bonuses that comes with it. There are other advantages apart from the salary that you earn. And automatically, your salary is going to go upward because it's a normal thing. It's just a normal thing. When you become a full associate, you start earning more than when you are like a trainee associate. So that's that. So how do you, assuming you will not offer the job, but you want to be retained, and you know that, oh, it's like 3 months to wrap up your service here or something like that, what do? You write an application letter, write a CV, you present it again like you're applying all over again to your HR. Now, it's not like when you're applying from outside, right? You can decide to submit a hard copy or a soft copy, depending. Or you can walk up to your HR, depending on the kind of relationship you have with her. Ma, I would like to reapply. What do I do? They will tell you, okay, send in your CV and application letter, or present it to me in hard copy, whatever they tell you. But that's just the first step, right? And then you will now continue from there. They may decide to have another interview with you, or decide that, well, there's no need. Let us consider her. Depending on how many of you are in the firm. Some firms, like a place like KPMG, they will just collate the entire thing and then call the associates, the junior associates, those of them that you worked with, and then they will ask questions. How do you see this person? Who should we retain and all of that? And then they will now decide on who to retain. But my own is just to tell you what to do to be retained. And I believe I've exhausted that. So I hope you're able to take one or two things from this wonderful session. There's a statement that was made by Miles Monroe. He's a pastor and a motivational speaker. He's late now, late Miles Monroe. But that's one of the topic that has kept me going, right? Like, he's everywhere in my phone, in my diary, and everywhere. He said, the more you know, the less mistakes you make. So don't take any webinar for granted. You will feel like, oh, we've heard this over again and all of that, all over. We've heard it like thousands of times. But the more you keep acquiring knowledge, the less mistakes you make. So yes, I do hope that I've been able to, you know, give it my best in telling you what to do to be retained and how to carry on with your youth service here. And for those of you that have already served, like you heard when Odinaka said he applied like June, July, that's like 3 months ahead. You can start applying now, even though you've served, right? So all you have to do is just upgrade your CV. I've said before, law school now, LLB, LLB, you put what you got when you were in university. For your BL, as per professional exam, which you are writing now, the law school exam, you put it in view. And then for your service year, you put it there where you served, let it be part of your work experience in your CV. Then prepare it and submit to law firms, write your cover letter. Odinaka had already shown you how to do that. You put it out there and then you send to law firms the same way you would have applied if you were still applying for NYSC associates. But the difference is that you're going to just write it application for a position of an associate as opposed to NYSC associates. And just like that, you're good to go. So yes. So at the end of the day, I guess I will just share the link and all of that. So I'll be. So before we go, right? I guess Osayeme and Wumi will just call out the airtime again. If they have anyone left, let them just do that. I have one left with me, but let them, when they are done, I would go ahead with calling the remaining airtime I have. Just MTN, Glo, Airtel, and 9Mobile. So get your phones ready for that. But in the meantime, I'm going to hand over to Oyewumi or Sayeme, whoever is supposed to moderate next, to carry on with the next thing on the agenda. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Chinasa. This was such an enlightening session. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it, and I believe most of the participants were able to get a lot from this session. You really spoke a lot. And if you've not seen our articles on LinkedIn, I'd recommend you go to our page. Chinasa Obiorah is her name, and then you read up on the articles she had earlier written. So quickly, the next thing on the agenda is a closing remark, actually. But before that, I have some airtime here with me, courtesy of our host, Miss Chinasa Obiorah. I think I have Nine Mobile, I have Airtel, I have MTN. So please get your phones ready as I will be calling out the numbers. So let me know if you're ready with the reaction. Are we excited about this?
Yeah.
Okay, right. I'm starting with Airtel. So here it goes. 52367634 000 96250. Again, 52367634 000 96250. That's Airtel. If you got that, let us know in the chat box. Again, I have MTN users. We have 7260 9814 2187 50625. Again, 7260 9814 2187 50625. I see Morenike, you got one again. Okay, congratulations to you. Nine mobile users, please. So here it goes. 3391 2820 0806 859. Again, for Nine mobile users, 3391 2820 0806 859. I have another MTN here. 4082 8588 5841 28706. Again, 4082 8588 5841 28706. Then I think that we have one more for Airtel, one more for Nine Mobile. So Airtel. Oh, sorry, Glow users. Sorry, I didn't forget about you guys. I did not. So Glow 42873 736 81 92225. Again, 42873 73681 92225. Another Glow airtime, we have 42663 83981 08223. One more time, 42663 83981 08223. So for the last Nine mobile, we have 8886, that's 888, then 6 1212 6151 804. 8886 1212 6151 804. Then the last one, okay, congratulations. The last one for Airtel, 5851 0082 3760-8517 for the last time. 5851-0082-3760-8517. That'll be all from my hand. Thank you very much for this. Osayemi, I don't know if you're still on the call. Osayemi, please confirm you can hear me.
Hi, Oyomi, I can hear you.
Yes, please. So without further ado, I'd like you to take the closing remark. And please appreciate all of our speakers.
Sorry to cut in, Oyomi.
Okay.
Please, there's someone I would like to introduce to you.
Okay.
Originally she wasn't, I didn't contemplate bringing her on here. So it was like last minute because, she's always busy and all of that, but she's someone you would really like, you need to listen to her. She wrote a book on what's the name of this book again? Beyond the Usual, something, yeah, Beyond the Usual, yes. Her name is Progress, and she's an international consultant, international student consultant, and she's a writer, she's life growth coach and all of that. Like, she's so many things. And I met her on LinkedIn, and since I started listening to her podcast, that really helped me a lot. And yeah, she's also a podcaster and all of that. So she's here with us, and she would like to have a few words. So like I said, she wrote a book on Beyond the Usual, and this book is still on NYSC and all of that. Like, this book is so massive. Sun newspaper captured it, and all other platforms captured it. So she would want to share one or two things with us. I don't know. I'd like to just invite her to say one or two things just for a few minutes. It won't be up to 10 minutes, just for very, very short minutes. So yes, she's already here. Progress, so good to have you. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Chinasa. I really appreciate it. I'm so sorry. I know it's been a long call and you guys are already itching to go. But I wanted to come on here. I mean, I've been listening to all the conversations from Odinaka to Chinasa and all the speakers, and it's been very, very empowering and edifying. Even though I'm not a lawyer, neither am I a law student. I am, as Chinasa said, I am an author. I'm a creative director. I have a podcast specifically for international students and people, migrants living abroad. And I'm a creative director. I do life coaching as well. I write a lot about social impact. So basically, my book, which is recently launched, I published it in 2019, and it is titled Beyond the Usual. Stories and ideas on how to maximize your NYSC. I think I've listened to a few people speak, and many of them refer to their NYSC, how to make the most of it, and transitioning from law school to NYSC and all of that. So this is the book. It's been recently launched. I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but it's the foreword was written by the founder of NYSC and our former president, General Yakubu Gowon. And it is essentially talking about how you can make the most of your NYSC, because I personally believe, and I believe many of you share the same idea as well, that your 1 year of NYSC is a period, for me, it is a period of self-discovery. And as Chinasa has also spoken, it is that phase where you can discover yourself, where you can make social impact, where you can do a lot of things, even as a lawyer, as someone working in your law firm or wherever you decide to end up working, how to make your mark and leave, a legacy wherever you're serving, because that is the essence of NYSC. It's a period of service and giving back. And in this book, I share a lot about project ideas, what you can do to have a meaningful NYSC experience, project ideas, and how to execute your project. And also, I didn't just dive into project ideas. It talks about the history of NYSC, why NYSC should not be scrapped, what you can do, ideas from myself and other core members, like a best NYSC core member from 2019 also shared his story in the book. And things to know before you go to camp experience, life in camp and outside of that, and discovering your purpose as well, especially during your NYSC experience, and how to make the most of that, because I believe that NYC is that thing that is not political. It is the only thing that is not political in Nigeria. So, people from east, west, north, and south come together, and they live in one space, and you have the opportunity to travel to another state that you haven't visited before. And for me, my NYC period was that phase of my life where I got to learn a different aspect of my personality, of my life, which I shared a lot of stories about in this book as well. So as I said, I'm not going to take too much of your time. I just wanted to piggyback on the points raised about NYSC and use the opportunity to introduce you to my new book and encourage you to get it. I am available on LinkedIn. You can send me, although I'm based in London, but I'm available. The book is available to be delivered across any state in Nigeria, wherever my publisher is in Nigeria. So if you want a copy, or if you want to buy for a friend or someone going to camp soon, or a final year student, you can definitely shoot me a message on LinkedIn. My name is Progress Uberiko. I don't know if you can see it on my screen, but it is Progress Uberiko on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on all platforms. And I'm happy to respond to your messages and inquiries. But thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much, Progress. It was so good to have you. Thank you. And yes, I believe one or two of them, or all of them, will get this book and go through it. Like I already said, the more you know, the less mistake you make. If you read this book and you get insights on how to navigate NYSC, how to make the most of it, and you've not gone to service, just imagine. And like Odinaka also said, like, law school is like a platform for you to show yourself. There are people that go through law school and jobs are the one coming to them, chasing after them. And there are those of us that are the one chasing after the job, right? It's just a matter of choice. And there are those of us that actually chased after the job and we got it. Not all of us that chased after the job got it. Not all of us got offered jobs immediately after law school. Some of us had to write application, attend interviews, 2 to 3 of them, 5 of them, 6 of them, and then got like 3 or 2 offers and then had to choose one. So, and there are some of us that applied and got absolutely nothing. I have friends like that, and they're now working 1 or 2 other places. So make use of everything you've heard today, put it to work, because it's applied knowledge that gives you results. It's not what you know, it's what you actually know and put to work that makes you get a good result. So yeah, so at this session, I'm going to be calling, I'm going to call the 9Mobile. So 9Mobile users, here you go. Are you ready? I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to assume you guys are ready. So fastest fingers to take it. So for 9Mobile, this is the digit is 8836 6888 4132 014. I'll go again. 8836 6888 4132 014. So I don't know who got that, but I do hope that one of you got it. Then for Glow users, are you ready? If you're a mobile user and you got this other airtime, please just kindly signify so that I will know that someone has gotten it. So for Glow users, this is for you. You have 42032, 43625, 91056. I'll go again. 42032, 43625, 91056. Glow users. Now for MTN users, I know there's going to be more than enough MTN users here. For MTN users, we have 5182, 5697, 6860, 43108. I'll take it again. 5182, 5697, 6860, 43108. That's for MTN users. Now for Airtel users, you have 5126, 6787, 0239, 6250. I'll take it again for Airtel users. 5126, 6787, 0239, 6250. I do hope that one of you got this. So yes, so please can we all turn on our camera now so that we can take the last screenshots before we call it a day?
But then I think Chinasa,
Yes.
I see some ends up, but because of our time and so we don't take so much of our speakers' time.
Oh, because
can
of questions, right? Okay, we'll
they
take
can- they
pictures
can-
and then we have to take questions. We have to take the questions since that's the last thing on the agenda. Oh, someone got the airtime. Thank you for indicating that. So we have to take the questions because I mean if they don't ask questions, that means they are still not satisfied with this webinar. So we'll take the questions and then we'll call it a day. But for now, let's just take the picture. So please let's all on our turn on the cameras of your phone. And then we'll take the picture and then take the questions and then we'll call it a day. I'm not still seeing some faces. Okay, let me take this first one first. So I'll take the second one now. Okay. To be sure, it's meaning. So this is the. Okay. Oh, I see Bruno. It's good to have you. I know some faces here already. Yeah, so that's that. So let's go for the questions now. So you can all close your videos now. Oyewumi, over to you. Let's take the questions now.
A second, please. I see Mary's hand up. Mary, you can ask your question. Mary C. Then we'll take that of Moreni KG and Progress. So if there's any other person that has questions, please, you can always reach out to Chinasa on LinkedIn or Odinaka or Tayo Dada. So Mary, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you so much. I got a lot of value in this webinar. So I want to ask, with regards to what Odinaka said, we made mention that most firms in the application for NYSC associates, that they fund and they site in usage deeper. So for me, I've made a few applications, not to all. But when I checked on some of their websites to get the email address for the HR and the recruitment email, I didn't see any specification as to maybe a file needed or a font size needed. Then I did a general font size application. I don't know if there is any way for us to find out about that so that I can make the same correction in other things I haven't applied to. I don't need to get my question.
Yes, I got your question. I'll call on Odinaka to take the question. Okay, he's already answering you.
Thank you. Thank you. I hear you. What I said, it was just a competitive advantage thing. It's not crucial. You understand? It's not crucial to the success of your application, and it's not fatal to it at all in any way. In fact, if you're not using the font of the firm, it's always advisable to just use Times New Roman, because I think it's a general style, or it's a general font. So it's always just put it in a way that it's going to look neat once you convert it to PDF. You understand? It's going to be legible and look neat enough. if you're able to use the funds of the firm, which you can discover from an insider, or maybe you have observed it from their publications, because these firms put out newsletters. You get, maybe you have observed it from their newsletters that they put out. You understand, if you're familiar with fonts formatting and design, you understand what fonts they're using. It's intelligible to use that as well in your application. But if you did not, it's not crucial. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, Odinaka, thank you very much. So do we have any other person who wants to ask question?
Yes,
You're welcome.
Moreni KJ.
Okay, Maureen,
You can
please
speak
go
now.
ahead. Monica, are you still here? So
If Moreni KJ is not available, I see
okay.
Ijoma's hand up. Ijoma,
Okay, Ijoma,
after
please go ahead with your
Ijoma,
question.
okay, you can also ask a
Okay.
question. That will be all.
Okay, Ijoma, please go ahead with your question.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, I really benefited so much from this webinar, and I'm grateful to all the panelists. So I have this question for Mr. Odinaka. He made mention of applying early. I want to know if this application can be made even without call for application. Like he said that I will have to wait for call for application before I can apply early, or the apply early implies that I apply even without call for application. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Adewanke, for that wonderful question. I think when Chinasa was speaking, she mentioned that some firms release calls for applications. But well, many firms don't release calls for applications. While Chinasa is correct that some do, I think how many top law firms release? I honestly can't recall. And even when they release, it's probably already late. For instance, I know a firm that they haven't released a call for application. They might release it in October or November or in December, but then it's probably already late. So when I mean apply early, I mean in all instances, in any general meaning you can get it, apply early. Don't wait for the call for applications. You get, some firms don't even call for applications at all. So apply early. Now, if you're in law school, it's probably already a bit late. So you don't want it to be later than it is already. So yeah, thank you. If that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, Ijoma, are you there? If not, Moreni KJ.
Okay, yeah. So before just to what Odinaka said, Odinaka, you said like it's already too late. I don't know. We that we are just registering for law school now. At what point is it already too late for us to apply?
No.
Like
No.
next year?
No. Okay, yeah. When I mean, in fact, even now, it's not already too late. Do you get? It's not, it's not late already. Do you understand? For people that are currently in law school, I'm just trying to let you know that many people already applied in June and July. So that you fast track your applications if you haven't. If you have not applied, apply as soon as possible. I am not saying that it's already too late. Do you understand? And then for people who haven't gone to law school yet, we know what you're applying for is for a training contract. You're applying for the role of a trainee associate. So if you haven't gone to law school already, then the need has not arisen. Do you understand? So wait for it is not yet. If you haven't gone to law school, if you're just finishing university, then you can apply for graduate internships, but it's not yet time to apply for the role of NYSC or trainee associates. Do you understand? Until when the need will arise and when you get in the position is during your law school. probably in your third term or shortly after your third term before exams.
Oh, okay. So that's like usually after externships.
Yes, it's usually after externship.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome anytime.
Sorry, please, I need to quickly ask this question. I'm currently serving and I've not gone to law school. So if I want to be applying for the role of an associate, is it the same advice that I apply around that June, July during law school next year?
Yes, it's still the same. So I have people in my firm that have done their NYSCs, but they're still trainee associates. So you're still applying when you're in law school, regardless of whether you have done NYSC or you don't even plan to do NYSC in your law school after your law school. You understand? So you're still applying at the same time. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Not a problem.
Okay, thank you very much. I
So,
believe
sorry, while we're taking the questions, I've just sent you the link to the webinar, the article on LinkedIn, so that you can just go through it at your leisure time. You can copy it from here, paste it somewhere else, and take your time and go through it, so you can get some other things you need from that article. Someone is asking, how do we create a cover letter with no experience? Odinaka will take this question. In the meantime, Odinaka, I don't know if I can appeal to you to maybe share this template that you already used to teach them with them, or share it with me. I will attach it in the email I'm going to send to everyone, if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, I'll share the templates after the call with you, Chinasa. If you don't have any work experience, of course, most of these law firms know that you don't have any work experience. That's why you're applying for the role of trainee associate. If you had work experience, you'd probably be applying for the role of an associate or a senior associate. You understand? So what you're going to be putting in your CV and in your cover letter are volunteering experiences, leadership experiences while you were in the university. You may have been the president of the law clinic or of the Law Students Association. You may have been the secretary. You may have been the head of the chambers. You may have been the chief judge. Putting also competitions that you undertook whilst at the university. You may have participated in some international notes competitions. Also putting us your internships, if you did internships. And the internships are really important as well. So yes, they know that you haven't worked as an associate in a law firm. That's why you're applying to them. And that's why you have to put in what you have done. Hope that answers your question.
okay, so we'll take the last question. We'll take the last question from Esther. Esther, I don't know if you're on the call. You can hear me. Take the last question from Esther and then we close the webinar.